Hi guys, so want to do a quick video on the four market structures. At the beginning of this video itself, let me tell you that I'm going to use simple language in this video. Some of the technical definitions you may want to further study, but want to do this quick video to give you a good understanding about the four market structures, right? First and foremost, very important that we get the names right of the four market structures. The four market structures are, if you have a short notebook, write it down as well. Number one is perfect competition. Number two is monopolistic competition. Number three is an oligopoly. Number four is a monopoly, right? So please get the names of the four market structures right. Perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly, and a monopoly, right? Starting off with perfect competition. Highly a theoretical model, very difficult to find real life examples, but vegetable farmers or farmers who grow fruits tend to come close into these market structures. Okay, going to give you few examples now. Number one is, there are no barriers to enter into this market structure. There are no barriers to exit from this market structure. Okay. Number two, the type of product that they create is homogeneous. Another word for homogeneous is identical, which means there is no difference between your product and my product. Each person produces only a tiny fraction of the market output. Okay, so sometimes when I ask this question from students, right? So let's say you are a farmer who grow carrots and you pass away, you die. I ask, what happens to the country's carrot supply? They say that nothing happens. That answer is wrong, and they also know the answer is wrong in this way, right? Everybody knows if there are 100 farmers who grow carrots, if one passes away and the farmers become 99, supply comes down. However, supply comes down by a negligible amount. That's what they mean when they say nothing really happens. They're right in that sense, right? So, in other words, my point is, in perfect competition, your output is so tiny compared to all the other suppliers in the market. So, as a result, in a perfect competition, this supplier becomes a price taker. Remember, I am now talking about the perfect competition individual's demand curve. Okay, market demand curve is different. I am talking about the individual demand curve, right? So individual's demand curve is price on this axis, quantity on that horizontal axis. Individual demand curve is perfectly elastic, a straight line like this, perfectly elastic demand curve, right? In the market, there is a separate demand and a supply that is different. Okay, I'm talking about the individual farmers demand. All right, so that is something that you need to understand, right? So as a result, because you only produce a fraction of the market output, you tend to become a price taker. Another reason is, your product and my product that we produce are similar, no? That is what you mean by homogeneous, no? Right? So as a result, right, you tend to become a price taker, right? So individual demand curve is perfectly elastic. You produce a fraction of the market output. You really can't have an impact on the market price. Understand this very well. Okay. In terms of profitability in perfect competition, in the short run, people in this market structure can make an economic profit. No barriers to enter, no barriers to exit. When people are making money in perfect competition, more and more supply coming. No barriers to enter. When there's money to be made, people will come in. That will shift the supply curve towards the right hand side. Price will come down. Some will start to make economic losses. In the short run, in perfect competition, suppliers can make economic profits as well as some will eventually make economic losses. Economic losses will result in some exit in the market structure. In the long run, in perfect competition, you can only make zero economic profits. Okay? That's a little bit about perfect competition. On one extreme you have perfect competition, on the other extreme you have something called a monopoly, right? So like these are two extremes, perfect competition and monopoly. In a monopoly, there is one supplier. The product that you supply is unique. The entry conditions are blocked. In other words, you can't enter into a market. A monopoly can get created due to many reasons, right? Number one is they may have a patent or a copyright, so that makes them the sole producer in the market. There is another way where it can get created when they own a key resource, or for that matter sometimes economies of scale, right, where they produce the good at such a low cost, it make no sense for someone else to come into this market, right? It will not make economic sense. So due to this reason, these guys in monopoly, this one supplier, can make economic profits in the short run as well as in the long run. Remember something about perfect competition. Now I'm going to do a quick comparison. In perfect competition, when they will produce at a point where marginal benefit equals marginal cost. Total surplus is maximized, there is no deadweight loss. Whereas in monopoly, what they will try to do is they will try to reduce the quantity supplied with the intention of increasing the price. Okay, as a result, there will be deadweight loss in monopoly. Producer surplus will be high, consumer surplus will be small. So those are some of the things that you need to remember about a monopoly. Okay, in the monopoly, like I said earlier, compared to a perfect competition, they can make economic profits both in the short run as well as in the long run. Okay, so these are the two models in two ends, right? In between comes monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition is close to perfect competition. In terms of qualities, the product that they produce is differentiated. Some examples would be pastry shops in Sri Lanka, comes under monopolistic competition. You may know these examples that will come under monopolistic competition. Both of them will produce a fish bun. Quality of the fish bun will be different. Ingredients that they may put inside the fish bun may be different. In other words, they simply create a differentiated product. In perfect competition, you're a price taker. In monopolistic competition, you're a price maker. All players in monopolistic competition will try to differentiate their product via branding, advertising and marketing. Okay, that is simply a monopolistic competition. I'm not sure in this video whether I mentioned this, but easy market to enter, easy market to exit, right? So that's a little bit about monopolistic competition. Oligopoly, interesting market structure. Product itself can be identical or differentiated. Very few suppliers in this market structure. As a result, each other will look at their competition to get an understanding as to what they should do. To make it a little technical, we say firms need to act strategically. Interesting study that I would like for you to do in oligopoly is something called the kink demand curve. Kink demand curve is where you will see interesting demand curve, right? So that you'll have the price and the quantity. Kink demand curve will take a shape like this, and then there's a point where it gets kinked. Kink demand curve simply talks about how the pricing decisions work. So I would like for you to do that research and answer these questions. When a player or a supplier is trying to increase the price, what will the others do? When a player is trying to decrease, when I say player, a supplier is trying to decrease the price, what will the others do? What does sticky price mean? Okay, what does sticky price mean? That's an area that I would like for you to do some research on. Again, this market structure is a price maker. So a quick hint is that, remember, only market structure that becomes a price taker is perfect competition. Monopolistic competition, oligopoly as well as a monopoly act as a price maker. So one price taker, perfect competition, price makers are the remaining three. Okay. So this is what I can cover in this short video about the four market structures. Take care. Hopefully it is helpful. Bye.